We do not own the rights to anything or any music that's heard during the duration of this podcast. Also, a lot of these shows will have explicit content. So if you are not a fan of any cursing or profanity, you may want to walk away, but that does not mean that every show will consist of such. I know y'all tired of it, but we got a new season of The Past. Welcome to season 8, the Mamba Year. Podcast available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of your podcast platforms. Here you'll get a dose of content related to tech, the productivity world, and most importantly, how to be a better you. The theme for this year, personally, is receiving grace. And we definitely want to do better with receiving it and being open to being a better us from who we were a year ago. So this is season 8 of The Past, and I hope you all enjoy.
We have another one. I know I've been gone. I know I've been back and forth. I've had some technicalities, some struggles, but we are back like we never left. Getting everything set up. Gonna be a little late but early in the day because I decided instead of getting up at 5, I wanted to get up at 5:30. So I took a 1 hour cushion and BS, and now we back to it and we active. Happy Sunday. So you catching a Sunday clip since someone decided to not want to walk on Friday. The punishment is make up. It's not really the punishment, it's just for betterment of completion. So the option is you gotta do it, get up and go do it. So here we are. Hope everyone's navigating this early stint of June. I will be the first to admit June has been in its 24 plus hour window. It has been about refinement, restructure, and resetting and refocused because can't speak for nobody else, but your boy been off. I don't know if I can get away with using the analogy, but think of Iverson, I would say by about year 4, year 5. And I think that might have been the year he won MVP. I don't know. But just going to the point when he literally was shooting like 12 for 35 from the field, like shooting not even close to 30% for a game. Like that example was a little more, but just having a really bad shooting night. And you can have one day like that, you can have 2, but when it becomes double digits and it's becoming like a wear and tear on you, not just physically but mentally, now it's time to do some assessments and like figure out what got us here and what do we need to restructure, reconfigure to get back to that. I don't even want to say promised land, but just get back to being a better us. And I can't speak to nobody else, of course, obviously, but for some reason, everything has been sending me or carrying me back to movement, motion, and mobility. And I didn't know the ins and outs or the magnitude of that, but lately it's definitely been more noticeable that when I need that like restructure or that reset, lately it's been mobility, just keeping the body mobile, keeping the mind active, and getting to it. Today will probably be a productive overhaul because I just thought and just looked at the fact that there's quite a fair share of content queued. Because I looked at it and I thought to myself, I'm like, wait, I want to do a podcast. I was supposed to do a podcast yesterday. I really didn't feel like doing it for whatever reason. And today I'm like, you know what? As bad as I don't want to do a podcast, instead of reflecting on not being able to do a podcast, I have 3 or so episodes in the tuck that I can just upload and edit. And I think it's a good starting point to getting the creative juices flowing again. So we'll see. But in the meantime, in between time, as I talked and breathed and passed out, not passed out, but just feeling the fatigue, I really am glad. Like, so, not instead of talking about today, I'm gonna kind of reflect on yesterday. Yesterday, I kind of made like a personal executive decision, which I haven't done those in a while. If you've been listening to my show for a minute, you know what I'm referring to, where you just say, look, this is what we doing, and that's just what it's gonna be. So the executive decision was to, instead of, so normally when I do my walk, like today, which I would have done Friday, I walk from my house and I walk to a court, basketball court near my house, and I just walk around the court. Well, I felt a little extreme, a little different yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go to a track near my house. I haven't been there. Not the last time I went there was there was an event going on. So I was there for like a basketball, uh, like assistant coach or something. And let's just say I enjoyed the experience by far. Right now, and this time, so that event was indoor. But this one happens to be outdoors at the track. So I look and I'm like, okay, we've done the virtual version of this track. Let's do a real walk, which in my instance took about it was at least, I think so. So every 4 laps is a mile, just like the virtual version. Well, I had 2.5 miles, meaning that I was gonna have to walk that track 10 times, and somehow, some way, I got 10 of them done. Felt good about it too. Felt really good about it, and kind of did like a reset, reflect, genuine relaxation phase of not being as pressed to, like, there was a lot that I was supposed to do, but my involvement with activities was kind of minimal to none. I just kind of chilled, which we had those days. We're human. So yeah, resetting, Sometimes we gotta reset, man. We gotta reset. And today will probably be the best day of doing a reset because I've not really wanted to acknowledge it, but since we're here, I need to get out of the house. I think I'm borderline having cabin fever, and I'm trying to like function through the cabin fever, but I'm also feeling the aftermath of it. You all will probably hear this after the blog, but I'll put the blog in the show notes. Hopefully, I'll put a mark reminding myself to do that. But the um the podcast, sorry, the podcast, the newsletter that I'm doing talks about burnout or being burnt out. It was funny because I gave a disclaimer, but I may, when I get home, remove the disclaimer because it's not really necessary for the blog. Because I realized like you can also be burned out. You can be burnt out, or you can just outright burnout. So sometimes I can be a little too technical and a little too analytical or deemed unnecessary. And that was one of those examples in live form. But with all that being said, man, I'm really happy and really thankful that I can take more time to move and not be as on edge about life. And most importantly, be okay with it. Um, my throwing the towel days seem to increase with time, if you will. But I've learned that I can't. I won't allow myself to. And I think the biggest reason is I'm just not a quitter. Like, it's so crazy. I've been working out with a friend who is literally my trainer that I have to pay. And since doing this, there hasn't been like an exercise that we've done or worked on that I've been like, okay, I can't do it. I've done everything, shown up for uh, every session, and it goes back to the dreaded yet infamous terminology of like online versus offline. Online wise, I'm good. I get in there, I get it cracking. Everything is everything. It's that offline that get me every time. The offline is the cook because I'm always looking at it like I'm not doing enough or I'm not at the pace. I'm not where I think I should be. I'm doing more things than deemed necessary, getting away from what I need to be doing. I will say one thing, and this is probably going to still be a trend for a while. I ain't gonna hold you. Doing them at like 2.5, even when I did the two last week, it's like literally when you're walking, your body is like your body has to adjust to that high level of movement. And it's like when I did the 10K, I had a couple times where I had to kind of stop. And it wasn't muscle spasms, it wasn't anything like extravagant. It was just more so my back was like, okay, what we doing? This ain't you got us pushing, but we ain't pushed this level before. Like the 20s, I've bought a 20 minute walk. There's another 20-minute walk or run, and everything's everything. But when you're like consistent moving, whole different ballgame, whole different ballgame, whole different perspective. If I'm being real, um, so that's what I have for that. Um, I don't. I think last time I was here, I tried to do the Fab Five, and each time I've tried to work on like doing those recordings, technology finds a way to technology. And I'm hoping, okay, we good. I'm hoping we don't run into the same problem today. So, Fab Five of May. How did May go with the Fab Five? So, on a personal level, three. Not going to even BS you, not going to even hold you, waste time. I went through quite a fair share of emotions and feelings. Won't great, it won't trash, but it got done. Um, Personal, about a 4.5, 4.8 if I want to be numerically challenged. Um, Definitely have my highs and lows with it, but you know, still navigated, still accomplished, and finished the month strong. Professional, 7. Professional was a 7 for a myriad of reasons because there was a lot of personal battles that I had and just trying to become good at what I'm doing, along with not making what I'm doing as difficult and or complicated as meets the eye, right? So it goes, it's gone through that like quote unquote bumps and bruises phase where I'm good, I'm rolling with it, it's shaking, it's happening, but the, the exhaust, the fatigue is real. And I sometimes don't realize how real it is until you really sit and like have to embrace it. Um, Creative. The creative side of things have been very unique. I'd say for the month of May, we're looking at about a, if I had to kind of make a call on it right this minute, I'd say it's at about a 6 or 7. Um, 6 or 7 only because I've gotten the non-fiscal creative things in tune. So doing, just creating freelance content for like my weekly quotes, doing my podcast, being guests on shows, like stuff like that. I've been fine. But then when it's like, all right, Brian, it's time to show up for you, and it's like, do I have to? I don't want to. And like working on my business, like I turned away a business opportunity because I personally didn't feel that I was ready, and I was, but I put myself in a not ready space. And I won't say I regretted it, but I definitely forced myself to sit with the fields of not being as ready as I normally am. So I kind of went through a bumps and bruises phase with that entire scenario. Um, and the feeling is eager, very eager from where I was to where I'm headed, and obviously where I'm going. And I'm not sitting here saying that June is going to be a phenomenal year. Um, the theme that I've kind of acknowledged the month being is the month of the shift. A lot of people have, and I've seen people beginning to trend this phase or this phrase, but I think this is definitely like my shift or my pivot of betterment and improvement because I kind of I kind of let my trial period extend a little bit longer than normal. So, like, long story short, like, if you heard or know about the infamous Amazon Prime jokes that people make where it's like, yeah, you get your Prime for like 30 days. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I got 30 days. So I can kind of utilize it and roll. Well, most people are like, yeah, I'm just using the trial period. Like, January was their trial period. Like, hey, let this be my trial month. Let me fixate and work through some stuff. But the trial period extended. And then it went from January to February, from February to March, from March to April, and from April to May. And I'm like, all right, cool. Instead of me getting just that free month, I done paid for 4 months. but still ain't really utilized the 4 months of what I paid for. So those of y'all who have Prime, and this is like literally a non podcast thing, but this is also a real life thing. If you purchase or are an Amazon Prime owner, utilize your Amazon Prime. And this, I've talked about this before without talking about it. I'm not necessarily an influencer per se, but, well, let me rephrase that. I am an Amazon influencer, but I want to be sure if I'm using the Amazon influencer factor that the profit is going to roll with being an Amazon influencer, aka if I'm going to make money from being on Amazon and being an influencer, then I'm going to be sure that will then be my incentive to go after the Prime option and adding that to my account. Because some people and people do it different ways. Some people outright get Prime and call it a day. Some people like they'll pay for it for the year. Some people do monthly. It's all preference. It's all what works for for you or for your style. And personally, I just right now it's not a thing, but it's going to soon be a thing. So I'm definitely looking into that option. Uh, it'll be different today because one of the first times I walked on a Sunday, along with that, yeah, the guy is over here, which is cool. He's out playing tennis, so I ain't gonna lie to you. This is the first time since I've seen or done tennis as a kid, seeing like the whole net setup and the full racketry and everything. So it's kind of cool. But yeah. All right. So from here, let's continue. Do the walk. So this will be a longer show. Really, it's not gonna be. I'm gonna let him play, and I'm gonna listen to some music and enjoy my walk for once. Um, I'm gonna say this before I finish up this recording. Stay level. Keep a level head through the ups and the downs. And why I'm saying that, or why I'm starting with that message, is because you are gonna have days that you just ain't gonna want to do it. And the thing that's so ironic or so truthful is that other people do not genuinely and or whatsoever give a fuck about whether you want to do it or can do it or are interested in doing it because they need you for what they need you for. And the the irritation levels were very high in the last 48 hours. Not gonna BS you, not gonna fluff you, but I know in the end, you sometimes need to have things happen the way they do for it to all come together. And that's just that on that. I don't have anything else. I was thinking like, do I want to talk about something? It's like, no, I'm good. Uh, I appreciate y'all. Sorry that I don't pay as bad as it is to say it that way. I've paid for the podcast equipment, but haven't really been using it. But I promise y'all, it's gonna get used. I've just had to kind of improvise and get a little creative with the style of podcasting, and also whether anyone's openly going to say it or not, podcasting is still considered a source of content. So this is just my different avenue or different way of creating content. And I know everyone's enjoying them. If you haven't, let me know. I always like to find ways to tweak. Even though my morning walks, like sometimes the walks have no, well, I ain't gonna say sometimes. 95% of my outdoor walks or walkcasts have no outline. They have no format. They are very unstructured, but very underratedly therapeutic. So that is what I have for that. And I'm going to finish this up here. And until the next time I will catch you all. Take care.
Truly hope you all enjoyed the show. Definitely was a lot to unpack, but I know you'll walk away with something important. As I share at the end of each season, do find your way to get into podcasting if it's something you would like to do. My podcasts are currently recorded via Buzzsprout. Been very good to me. If you want to learn more about using them, definitely hit me up at thepastbtpod@gmail.com. And also the microphone that you're hearing me on is the Blue Yeti X. Have been rolling with it for over 3 years. We've been doing this ride for quite some time, so I hope someone could find this mic useful. Again, find those people who are good or helpful in what you're trying to do to be better today than you were yesterday. The primary goal is to be 1% better. Hope you all have an amazing day, and we'll be back again to do this next time.